Hi there, my name is Lauren Peters and I'm going to tell you about my fairy tale art integration project. This semester I am not student teaching, so I ended up working with one individual student from 3rd grade. He was diagnosed with autism at an early age and spent some time in the special education resource room as well as his general ed classroom. In reading, his classroom was going over fairy tales, so we expanded on this for the project. After interviewing him about art and his interests, we landed on the topic of animals, and the final assignment was for him to write a short fairy tale involving animals and draw a picture to go with the story. For the objectives, the student will recognize style, tone, and medium in watercolor pictures, explore watercolor techniques and apply them to a picture he creates, complete a fairy tale story. I reviewed different characteristics of fairy tales with the student just to make sure that he knew what made them different from other genres of stories. And then the student and I went through different watercolor paintings in order to go through different tones, styles, and mediums and to see if he could get some inspiration for his picture. This is one of the pictures we looked at by Vincent van Gogh. We talked about the different texture in the leaves and in the shrubs and the grass and even the sky. In this next picture we talked about how you can kind of use the paint to make that fur effect like on these birds, but also even though you're using watercolors you can still be specific like with the beaks and the eyes. This next picture was fun to look at because we kind of talked about the contrast between the white and the darker colors and how using the white really makes some of the colors pop out. And in this last picture we talked about once again the different contrast and also that texture of the waves and how you can really tell that they're crashing together. These are the different supplies that were used. We used all the things to make a watercolor painting, and then a graphic organizer for the story writing, and also a laptop for typing up the story. For the process, we started out using a graphic organizer so the student could write his story out and really organize his thoughts. Once his story was all planned out, he started typing it up and putting everything together. Since the story was kind of the bulk of the project, we started with that first. And then once he finished with that, we went to the picture. And he started with a pencil and moved to outline it in Sharpie. And then we added the watercolor paints. This is the graphic organizer that we used. It kind of had beginning, middle, and end. And we used that to help him decide on what he wanted to start with, what was going to happen in the middle, and then how his story would end. This is his final project. His story is typed out on the top, and then the watercolor painting is stuck on the bottom. So a little closer up, his story was about a lonely bear who wanted a friend, and he ends up befriending a snowshoe hare who is also in the picture with him. So for my reflection, I think that the student was able to meet the objectives of the lesson. He was able to write a story that had beginning, middle, and end. And the picture he drew did address 3 different kind of styles. He ended up using wet on wet, dry on dry, and he did try mixing colors. And I really liked that he tried using a sponge for the grass at the bottom of his picture to try and add that extra texture. It showed up a little bit, but not too much. But I thought it was a really good idea. And then doing the lesson again, I think it went really well to use the graphic organizer. It really helped him organize what he wanted to put in his story and make sure that he had everything, so that he started out with a beginning and actually had a middle and an ending. So I think I would use that again. And then something I might do differently next time is spread out the typing, because we did it in just a couple days, but the student was really getting tired of typing and kind of frustrated. So I think it would have been better to spread it out over the entire week. But other than that, I really enjoyed the project and working with the student. It was really fun, and it was nice to work one-on-one, but I also think that it would be great to be able to do this with a larger group as well. Thank you.